Hey everybody, this is Evan Vadney from TechCon Tech News. Today we're going to be taking a look at Logitech's snazzy, stationary K480 Bluetooth keyboard with multi-device switching. Stay tuned for more. Alrighty, so to start the cosmetic teardown of this thing, it's a pretty good looking device. To be honest, it's not meant to be a mobile device, so I mean, it is stretching the thick side. It also has a pretty decent weight. But then again, it's also meant to stay on your desktop, not move at all, just stay as a Bluetooth device with this amazing little switcher that we have here. I really like the colors that they chose. This is pretty poppy, but it's still down to earth. Like, it's nothing too flashy. It also comes in white with gray instead of the yellow. Personally, I like the black more because honestly, I just think it looks better, but personal opinion. You can go check it out on the Logitech website. They show all of the color options. So let's start taking a look at the functions of the keyboard. So as we start, we have this bar here, which is pretty much just a slot so that you can take a tablet or a phone like this HP Stream 7 I have here. Just slides right in there, and then you can start typing away. Of course, you have to switch to the device first, but nonetheless, it'll still work. We also have, like I've mentioned a couple times now, this dial on the surface, which easily rotates to let you switch between 3 Bluetooth devices. So I have my desktop computer, my tablet, and my phone all hooked up to this. And it should work with most mobile phones. There's some that don't just because of software, but nonetheless, if you have a phone that was built in the last 3 years, it should work. Now if we take a look at this side, we have these two buttons that are marked with a little Bluetooth logo there. What these two buttons are for is pairing and switching between operating system layouts. So basically what that'll let you do is switch between Start and Alt Option / Command. Also, it'll change which of the functions up here, it'll change what they do, which is pretty important. Personally, if I'm switching between, say if I had an iPhone, I'd want that to work so that these take me home and back and search, right? Versus if I'm at my desktop where I want to be able to use these for other commands. I honestly don't use the whole media buttons a whole lot, but I can see where some people would want that. So then these buttons are also used for pairing, which is pretty simple. All you have to do is press down and hold on the button, and then the light beside it will start to flash rapidly. So as you can also see, there's a light on both sides indicating which operating system you have selected. It's a regular QWERTY keyboard, thank God. I wouldn't imagine anything else. And to be honest, these keys, they're pretty good. They make a decent amount of noise. They do require a pretty substantial amount of pressure to push down. But otherwise, I find that my fingers glide. They have really nice curves in them to seat my fingers really nicely. It's very comfortable to type on. The one complaint that I would have is because it's so thick, it gets high up, and I end up keeping my fingers like this rather than like that, which I prefer typing like. That's just a personal problem though. Some people don't have any issues with that, but it's just something that concerns me. If we take a look at the back now, we can see that we have 5 rubber pads that keep it from sliding onto your desktop, which is what it's built for, so it makes sense that they're there. We also have a nice big Logitech logo, thanks for that. And we have our power button, or power switch rather, and a nice little battery indicator that turns on when you turn on the device. This will be green when you have full battery or a good battery, and then it'll turn orange when you have low battery. As we move over here, we have the K480 model number and our battery slot, which will open up to give us a slot for 2 AAA batteries, which are pretty inexpensive, but I would honestly recommend buying one of these and some rechargeable AAA batteries, just so that you're helping out the environment and helping out your pocket as well. Now that's pretty much all we have as far as the device itself. It's not a very complicated device. I mean, it's very basic, but it does a very good job of what it's supposed to do. I love this slot. I usually keep my tablet in this, and you know what? This is the keyboard that I use on my desktop. It's reliable. As far as wireless goes, it's very quick, especially when switching between devices. I've found that there's little to no, well, there's definitely lag between when you switch devices for it to connect, which is reasonable. I mean, it's like turning it on for the first time, right? But I mean, apart from that, the connectivity is lightning fast. I'm very impressed with it. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole gist of what's going on the front and back here. Now we're going to take a look at setup for this device, so stay tuned. Okay, so now let's take a look at connecting it. I'm going to do a Windows 8 PC. Now that Windows 10 is out, this might change a little bit, but nonetheless, it should be pretty similar. So in the case that your computer doesn't have a Bluetooth adapter, you're going to have to either buy one of these if it's like a laptop, or if it's a desktop, you can either get this or you can get a Bluetooth adapter with Wi-Fi for around $30 to $40 that connects through PCI Express. It's a really pretty basic installation, to be honest. There might be a couple of drivers you have to add with like a disk or something, but besides that, I mean, it's a pretty simple process. Same goes for this. Drivers will need to be installed, but nonetheless, let's go ahead, plug it in. All right, it'll recognize the device. And then what we want to do is switch to the preset that we want. So we'll go with 3. And because we want it to be a PC device, we're going to hold down PC, putting it into pairing mode. All right, see it's flashing. Then, to get to Bluetooth settings on our Windows 8 PC, we're going to swipe from the right to get to the Charms bar, go to Settings, change PC settings. Another way of accessing this screen is searching through here, PC settings, or if you have it pinned to the start, just tap that. Now we can go to PC and devices, the first one, Bluetooth, and as we can see, we have our Logitech K480 right there that we're going to connect to. Ready to pair. There. And just give it a second. And then it gives me a passcode that's randomly generated that I have to type in. So we'll go 721531. Enter. Just give it a second. Alrighty. And after it's finished setting up, well, I mean, we can still use it now. But now we can start using it. I'm not really sure what that little loading bar is for, because I mean, I can still use this thing. It works fine as I want it to. I can use these buttons if I wanted, but I really don't. So, I mean, that's there if you want it. Volume. Oops. Anyways, So that's how you connect it to your Windows 8 PC once it's there. Works like a normal keyboard. And happy typing, right? So this pretty much wraps up the review. We're going to go over some final pros and cons and whether or not you should buy this device. So Alright, so to conclude our review, we're going to run over some pros and cons of the device and whether or not you should buy it. So let's just quickly look at retail price. This thing I bought for $50, I believe, USD. So you know what? I mean, for the price, I think it's definitely worth it. Only special function it has is this, but it's pretty awesome. I mean, I really love having this because it lets me switch between my desktop, laptop, phone, this, maybe one less than that, but besides that, I mean, it's a great little thing to have. And of course, it's supposed to be a desktop device, but I bring it with me. Whatever. I get a couple scratches here and there, but I mean, I'm fine with that. So, pros and cons. Pros, awesome battery life. Really, really good typing. Has this dial which lets you switch between devices. Now, cons. It's heavy. It isn't really portable. I mean, it is, but it's not designed for it, right? And one problem that I've had that's pretty big is I've had a hard time turning the function lock off or on to let me use the F1, F2, F3, etc. keys versus the media keys. I'm still looking for a fix for that, and when I do, I'll post it in the description, but until then, it's still an unsolved mystery, and I'll have to figure that out still, but it's definitely a problem worth considering. If you want to use this for like games, programming, etc., you might want to consider something else. I know there's a lot of other Bluetooth keyboard options, but do they have this? That's the real kicker, right? So, you know what? If I was to rate this out of 5, I'd say probably a 4 because of that one issue. Otherwise, flat out 5. You know what? Those cons that I brought up, I don't think they're even really worth. They're just kind of nitpicky things, not all that important, but nonetheless, I think that this is definitely a buy. And you know what? Go to Best Buy, pick one up for yourself. It'll be a well-spent $50. Thanks.